Are you looking for a powerful way to get your message in front of a highly engaged audience? Hi, everybody. I'm Peter Stockdale with the Spin Market Report. Advertising on the Spin Market Podcast Network puts your business directly into the ears of our active listeners. Our podcasts have over 20,000 total streams in the last 12 months. That includes over 160,000 YouTube impressions and over 150,000 total views on YouTube combined. Whether you're promoting a product, service, or event, reach out to the Spin Market Podcast Network to find out how you can reach an actively engaged audience. So get heard today. Go to www.spinmarket.com to find out more information. Your business, your message, our platform.
It's the Spin Market Report. Here's your host, Peter Stockdale.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? We're sitting down. It's the Spin Market Report. We are back. We got Rachel Rowe, Jeremy Pearson. You guys work at 4Dodge Fiber. This is going to be fun. 4Dodge Fiber. So can you tell me a little bit about it? Like, how did 4Dodge Fiber come to be? Because it's kind of new-ish, right?
New-ish, yep. So back in 2018, 2019, the city council thought that there needed to be some other options for the city of Fort Dodge and the residents of Fort Dodge. So they put that to a vote, and in 2019, the citizens voted 72% in favor of looking for and trying to establish a community-owned broadband network. So that's what the city moved forward to do. And in 2019, that was pre-COVID, so nobody had figured out yet that broadband at home was like the necessity. It needed to be a big, super reliable thing. So they set up that vote. They worked through the financing and the plans and the project for that, and we started moving forward with bearing fiber in 2022, summer of 2022.
Nice. You know, that was something, I guess I never really even thought about that, because pre-COVID, everyone, you just kind of had internet.
Right.
But, when it hit, it's like you need
It wasn't
internet.
until COVID that everybody realized that, until that point, everybody was concerned with download speeds, watching movies. Everybody was consuming media and internet at that point. It wasn't until COVID hit that everybody all of a sudden started doing Zooms and all that stuff from home. And now all of a sudden, most of your traffic or a lot of your traffic is going the other way.
Yeah.
And at that point, symmetrical broadband wasn't really a thing. That was a enterprise, large business, large enterprise kind of thing. And so that didn't really exist until COVID hit, when Zooms took off and everybody was trying to work from home. And you had kids doing school, you had people doing web meetings and all these kinds of things from home, and there wasn't enough outbound traffic. So that's kind of when all of a sudden, oh my goodness, we need more, and fiber will allow that, and we can support that. So I think if that vote would have happened after 2019 or after COVID instead of before COVID, that number would have been ridiculous high, and it was already ridiculous high. 72% for the community to want to support an endeavor like this. This is not a cheap project.
Yeah.
So pre-COVID, when nobody really knew yet how much of an importance it was, that they were still thinking that it was already important.
Yeah. So can you tell us a little bit about yourselves and your role at 4Dodge Fiber then? Give us a little background of what you do there.
Sure. I'm the director, so I just kind of sit back and hide even further behind this microphone, behind the chair, really sit back and try to be behind the scenes and just kind of make sure that everything kind of works together. So I have a great team. Rachel's part of our customer experience team. She's the front-facing piece, but I just hide out in the back and just make sure all the things work and the bills get paid and answer those tough questions, and just hide behind the scenes to make sure we have the right people at the right positions.
Yeah. I mean, even as a director, you were out on a call.
I was.
Before you even got here.
Yep. Just came here from a support call to make sure our customers' equipment was functioning. And we're a small team, but we're a mighty team. And what we strive for is the customer experience. We have a great product, but it's the customer support that you get, because something always goes wrong. It's technology. Something is bound to happen. And it's from that point on is when we want to earn our money and earn your business.
Rachel, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I started off with fiber 2023, about January 2023. I was the sales and marketing supervisor, so I deal a lot with the advertising part of it. I handle the business installation, and that there's a lot more communication that needs to be made with businesses more than residential, because you got the authorized users, you got the different plans or the extra stuff like static IP address or special switches. There's a little bit more that goes into a business installation. So we'll do business visits and just go look at their equipment to see what exactly is needed ahead of time. So I build that rapport with businesses and do community events. There's been many times where the school systems, I've gone to read to the preschoolers. We went in to fifth graders and taught them about internet safety. And so it's fun to be a part of the community and be able to like be active in a group of kids playing at Olson Park. We go there and we hand out popsicles. And if any kid sees this video, they're going to be like, oh yeah, I have that popsicle sleeve. We hand out the little fiber popsicle sleeves that everyone raves about, but it's just fun to be out there. Recently, I have become the customer experience manager. So now, in addition to the marketing aspect and the business visits and everything, I'm also in charge of the office on 617 Central Avenue. We got 4 girls there, including myself, and we just all work together and communicate well with our customers and reach out to those who are ready for a site survey, do a lot of call-in, and I also handle any of those not so nice phone calls. If we make a customer upset, I'm the one who is going to try to make the situation right. And almost always it's like they leave laughing. It's maybe a misunderstanding or an overlook that we've done because we're not perfect. But otherwise, yeah, I'm the customer experience manager / sales manager and jack of all trades. And then he comes and helps me when it comes to phone stuff because I'm not that savvy when it comes to connecting the phone part of it. So he joins me for those business visits as well.
That's awesome. It's a team effort.
Mm-hmm. It is a team effort, yes.
You bring up a really good point about the technology end. Sometimes it's just not an easy fix. Mm-hmm. You wish it was, and it's hard to relate that to the customer to let them know, hey, we're on it, we're working on it, please be patient. But sometimes it does. It just takes a while.
It does.
To even figure out what the issue is because it's not, there's so many moving parts to providing that kind of service.
Right. And the thing about, from this, I've been in IT for almost 30 years now, and when you're in a business or, a school district from where I come from, you have a little more control over what connects to what. So you get to control those pieces. It's not, now we're just the provider of the service. So we don't get to control what you as a consumer or you as a business owner connect to our network. So when something doesn't work, that comes back to us, and then we have to do that research to figure out, all right, what trick is it? Who needs to flip what switch or what button needs to do this? So there's a lot of behind the scenes work, as you said, to go into finding those little needles in the haystack, because there are a lot of needles in a haystack to figure out when something just doesn't work right. So
and we see that all the time in our world here. It's been exactly, you don't always know what the exact answer is immediately because you've got to do some research and you don't know what the other person did on the other side. And you've got to be very inquisitive and ask a lot of questions to find out exactly what they need.
Right. And patience. Patience comes right with that.
Yes.
From both sides.
Both sides, exactly.
So
I admire any tech person on the because of the amount of patience that they have to have trying to explain to you, okay, now you need to do this and now you need to do that.
Especially just in explaining to an average Joe. And I mean, like, I took Cisco training when I was in high school. I didn't get my certification because I didn't finish the courses, but like I understand the concept of like everything that goes into this. And, just to be like, well, your DNS server or something. And then people are like, what are you talking about? So like I'm sure you have that where you have to kind of like, I don't want to say like simplify it for the average consumer, which that's probably the most difficult part of your guys' job.
You never want to make your customer feel like they don't know anything. And so if it's, making up the verbiage that you can kind of understand, it's this, it's not this, that part doesn't really matter, but this is in effect what it does. And, it just helps you turn this into this, and it, at the end of the day, you don't want a customer to feel that they don't know anything, even when they don't know anything, because that's not a great feeling to have.
No.
And so good customer support people work around that to try and make them understand that if this isn't you, we'll get through this and we'll be here to support you at the end.
Awesome.
I think it helps a little bit that our staff at the Customer Experience Center, like none of us came from an internet background. Like I was in advertising. I had a couple other girls at a bank. And another girl worked for a trucking company. No one really knew. So like when we get those questions about IT support or like what do I do if this happens? It's kind of easier for our team because we've been there. And so like having tech people like Jeremy, they are educating us as well. So, I mean, it's kind of like a team effort where it's easy for us to simplify things for people because we need that in order to communicate to the customer what to do.
That's nice. That's a nice little 1-2 punch.
Yes.
So you had mentioned in 2019 was when they took the vote for
Yes.
4.5,
Yep.
and then about 2022 was it?
2020. It took from 2019 to 2022 to get everything in line. Round up the financing, go through all those pieces, to virtually build this network, and then start actual construction in 2022. Summer of 2022 was when we actually started putting fiber into the ground. So
Nice. Is that when you had your first customer somewhere around that time as well?
our first customer was brought online May 31st of 2023.
That's awesome that you know the exact date.
I do know the exact date. It's my daughter's birthday, but those are kind of those things that you just remember. We did 2 customers that day, and we were actually along. We had some contractors that were in town to help us with the install because we're all brand new. In fact, I don't even think we had an installer on our staff at the time. So we were relying on contractors to do this work. So it was myself and another person of our customer experience team, and we're just kind of along for the ride to see how it all shakes out. I mean, you understand what it is, but until you see, you drill through here, you're drilling through here, and you run the wire here, and all the lights light up, and it's like, man, this really does work. This is gonna happen. And then to see the customers, face light up when, oh my goodness, I'm really getting that speed. So it's, that was fun to be a part of. And you remember those things. You remember those first. So I've been lucky in my career to basically start at ground zero in both of my grown up adult jobs. So it's fun to remember where those things happen and the progression of where it goes throughout the time.
Let's talk a little bit about the progression. What's changed since you guys' first install? Has anything changed?
I think we're just getting better. We're understanding, where we need to locate equipment. We're understanding how to hide or mask or make the install look clean and fresh. The last thing you want to do is walk up to a house that has wires, duct tape, or nailed to, or drooped over. You don't want it to look like that. Nobody wants to put their name on that. So trying to understand and get better at what that install looks like, but yet streamline it so you're not taking, I'm one of those guys, they measure twice, cut once. I measure 37 times, and you stand back and look at it and you draw a little picture and is that going to work? I mean, I get accused at home all the time of something that hanging a picture doesn't need to take 3 hours. So I'm not a very good install person, and our team does a great job of listening to the customers. Hey, we want this to go here. We don't want you to do this. You can do this. And, so that's the thing that's changed. We've learned, how to better explain where you need to be for our plans, so nobody really needs our top plan, but people want that, or people have budgeted that in from wherever they're coming from in their previous provider. So they're used to that number, and we're happy to accommodate that. But for the normal Joe that has a couple devices at home and they want to watch TV at night, we're happy to make that work. And that's all. At the end of the day, we just want a happy customer, and selling internet is our job, but we're here to make a happy customer, to have a happy customer. And that's not selling you our top of the line plan when we know that you'll be fine at our 1 or 2 entry point plans.
Yeah, we were actually talking to somebody. They said they had like 30 some devices on their Fort Dodge Fiber. It's like, they might need the top plan.
That's right.
Yeah, it's
They
fun.
really don't?
Yeah,
Nope, I talked him down.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Holy cow.
The bandwidth that you get with our plans, like it's all the speed of light, no matter the plan you get. So it's how many devices you have connected to your network at one time. that's when you should start going up. But a lot of people will be like, well, yeah, I was paying $125 for internet with this person, so I might as well do your 5 gig for $125. And our team actually talks people out of it. Like, you don't need it. Honestly, what you have, this plan's symmetrical speeds. You don't need all of that extra bandwidth. You only have 10 devices you're connecting. So honestly, go with our lower bottom tier. Let's see how that performs. You could always go up at any time because we don't do contracts. So, I mean, we're extremely flexible, but honestly, we talk ourselves out of money
Right.
all the time, because at the end of the day, if you keep your customers happy and you're transparent with them and not trying to pull anything over on them, like that they've gone through that for so long in the past, which is another reason why Fort Dodge Fiber came to be. We needed someone with great service, but also transparency and good pricing and
willing to invest in the community.
yes. Yeah.
We're here. Almost all of us live here. We have one of our team that comes from Humboldt, but I think everybody else lives in town. You know, we're all sending our kids to school here. We're all shopping here. We're all doing all those things here. We might as well just continue to be part of that community and support that. So
It's awesome.
Well, I just wanted to add, I was actually at a client's office when you were installing there, and the front desk, the receptionist couldn't quit saying enough compliments at that time, because the technician even asked for a broom to make sure that he had cleaned up everything afterwards. And they just went, what? Oh, well, that's great. I can do it. No. I'll take care of it. So, I mean, I firsthand watched how great the techs were when they were out there.
Yep.
They're awesome. People rave about that.
Yes.
Yeah.
A lot of the comments we get about our technicians is they're so patient and kind and knowledgeable, and they explained everything very well to me. And I mean, I don't know, it's almost daily someone's reaching out to our team or bringing in snacks, and then we got to call the techs and be like, hey, you got cookies here because you're awesome. And yeah,
Hurry up before I eat them all, right?
Right. Well, you know, we love our snacks too. So, but yeah, a lot of people rave about just how kind and understanding and awesome our technicians are. So,
I mean, those small things go a long way. Not to like sidetrack it, but I remember when we had like a furnace partially installed in here, and the company that came in and did that, they cleaned up and swept and everything after themselves. And it's like, I mean, you get it. It's customer service, but like they didn't really have to do that. But it's something you noticed right away, you know?
And you remember that piece.
Bingo.
That's the part that you get. You remember that piece. It's not, oh yeah, it's good internet, whatever. But this is how I felt when they were here. You know, they talked to me like I was a normal person. They weren't using the technology terms. They were, you know, making me feel like I could understand it. And they cleaned up after themselves.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not going to say that we haven't had, you know, those one-off kind of things where something happens, somebody forgot to do something. We all mess up, but it's how we've went back and tried to fix that after the fact when we've been made aware of those things. So we own our mistakes. We've made mistakes. We've made plenty of mistakes. I mean, you don't build a network like this in a town this size and put this much stuff in the ground without screwing something up. And we've had our fair share, and it's what we've done to try and remedy those things and go back and make it right with those customers.
I think you're bringing up a really good point, Jeremy. And I don't know that our community totally understands the dynamics of what it takes to put together this type of a service. I mean, we've seen development areas. You've seen people go in and set up the electrical and all of that there. But when you're talking about a developed city and then going in and trying and actually digging and putting the fiber in, that's a whole nother level that a lot of things in the older part of town you don't even know exist.
Right.
And you're plowing and putting that. And I know downtown when you went and some of the vaults that are here, the coal vaults and that type of thing. Again, a whole issue of trying to put that fiber in the ground where you didn't even know something existed.
Right. It's tough. It's tough.
So let's talk a little bit about how everything like differs, because you're talking fiber internet. We had mentioned this. It goes at the speed of light because that's basically what fiber internet does. But how does that differ from like, let's say like broadband or like some other internet providers that might be around? I guess I don't know exactly what everyone else offers. I didn't research their companies. I researched yours. But let's talk about how yours differs from theirs, or how your services differ from theirs.
Well, with our services, we don't have contracts. We don't have data caps. Every plan is symmetrical speeds, even upload and download speeds. With fiber, it's glass that light is transmitting through. So when we say like your internet's the speed of light, like it is. Like light is what's powering and giving you that connection.
Our network is completely end-to-end fiber. There's no copper. Some networks are what they call like a hybrid. So they have a fiber backbone, and they hand it off to copper going to the people's homes because that's already been installed. So those companies out there that already exist have made a huge investment in a copper plant that's already taken to your house. You move into a house, there's probably already a telephone line, or there's probably already a coax line for those pieces. So we come in and we are end-to-end fiber. So everything that we have to do is basically brand new. So end-to-end, all of our fiber is new. It's just been placed in the ground. All of our equipment is brand new. There's no limit yet, in theory, to the speed that fiber can go. Nobody's maxed it. The only limit is what's been created or what's been dreamt up. They can run an unbelievable amount of data in a lab over a piece of fiber. And what's the nice part about that, it's that one single piece of fiber that hasn't changed. It's just the electronics on both ends, the fiber in the middle, the network piece, the actual cable has never changed from that piece of glass. So that's the beauty of fiber. In theory, there's no really limit to where that goes. And it's come a long ways. 30 years ago when I got started, fiber was super expensive to deal with, super expensive to install. Now it's pretty simple. I mean, our guys can terminate fiber in about 5 minutes. When we're installing in a condo or an MDU or a business case scenario where we're not using pre-terminated fiber, but a lot of the stuff that we do is already pre-terminated. So there's a box in our vault in the ground, and we plug in a thing that it's just a plug. It's made for fiber, but it's just snaps in together, and it snaps in together at the other end, and it's all modular. So there's no real things that have to be spliced and placed together unless we absolutely have to. So things have come a long way to make it easier to use fiber anymore. And, it's less susceptible to, interference because it's just light. You can run it right alongside power, storms, wind, all that stuff. It doesn't matter anymore. The only problem is when you cut it or break it or you dig it up out of the ground, or you place a giant melting pot over your fiber and it turns into a giant pile of plastic blue, because we've had that already happen too. So it's amazing what happens and just because of somebody either not paying attention or just being unaware of what it is. But how you recover from that is how you move forward.
Yeah. The technology of fiber itself over the last 20 to 30 years is pretty wild. Because I remember when I was doing the training, fiber was you kind of shouldn't bend these cables. Right. And now it's they come on a reel and it's you can bend them now.
You can almost compress it to a super tight bend. It used to be super gentle, and now they'll show you where you can basically tie it in knots without, dragging it super tight, but put a big kink in it and it'll still pass light. Yeah. So it's come a long ways.
Yeah, I remember they used to have almost right angle connectors. It was wild back in the day.
Yep. And if you looked at it wrong, it broke. You couldn't touch it, it broke. And I did not do very good in fiber class 30 years ago, I'll tell you that.
I will add the copper or coax cable. You're also with that, people get that 5 o'clock slump where everyone is logging on at the same time. And so your service is lagging, where with fiber, it's your own direct connection. You're not having to share a network with your neighbors.
Oh, yeah.
So that's another big important thing for people, especially those people who work from home, because if they're not off till 5, they need to be able to work until that time. Mm-hmm. Well, when they got deadlines and stuff, but their neighbors are taking up all the internet on the block, it's not possible.
So, that's got to benefit businesses too, though, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because fiber is now a thing that a lot of businesses have, especially I want to say we're in the downtown Fort Dodge area. So there's a lot of companies down here that utilize that service. Does it increase their reliability or does it increase their business performance, do you think?
I think it pays off. The fiber broadband is super reliable. It's still susceptible to somebody digging in the wrong spot, and it's technology. Something is bound to happen at some point. So, but it's just the the reliability of it and the ability to, pass symmetrical data and just the amount of data that it can pass is where fiber really shines.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. I mean, especially if you're, like you said, like passing information from a company to a person. A lot of times we work in a digital world here at Spin Market. So it's one of those things we do a lot with digital where it's like, we need to send this to somebody. So having those upload and download speeds being symmetrical and being fast, or like even for security purposes, because a lot of security systems now are internet based, and having those on fiber and being a little bit more reliable might be kind of nice, for these companies downtown here or anywhere, even if you have it at your house.
Right.
So are there any special, like you were talking, maybe a new customers and things that go along with that. Are there any special packages or incentives for new customers, or is there anything that they might not be used to that their old provider had that you guys are different? I know we kind of talked about no contracts?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. We don't do the contracts. There's no data caps. And a lot of people will call us because they're not sure what plan they need. And they're like, well, my bill says 60/5/1500. I'm like, okay, so that's your upload and then your download. And then that is like your bandwidth. Like you do have a data cap there. So that is different. We don't cap how much data they use. With the no contracts, they can change their plan at any time.
No equipment fees.
Yeah. Yep. No modem rental fee.
Oh yeah, I'm not going to call anyone out here, but that's always been one of my things. I was just like, why do I have to rent the modem from? Like,
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, well, you can buy your own. It's like, could have just said that from the get go, but those are the things where you're just like, come on, what are we doing here?
Yep.
So I think that was one of the things when I saw it, I was like, nice, that's cool.
Yeah. And then the fact that we are local. So we have 12 employees. Jeremy said earlier, we have one guy that actually lives in Humboldt that travels, but he used to work for a different phone provider. So his knowledge for Fort Dodge Fiber now is just awesome to have. We got a girl who recently moved to the Dayton area. Otherwise, we're all local to Fort Dodge. You're not going to get that calling an 800 number with your old provider. And a lot of times, it's very frustrating for people. Like, you just want to talk to a real person. I have multiple people when we try to carry over their phone number, they can't get through to an actual person. They have to do the little robot, or they press 1 for this, 2 for this, and then it never goes to the right department. Mm-hmm. Where with Fort Dodge Fiber, you have local everything. Mm-hmm. I've had people stop me at a grocery store to ask me questions, and which is totally fine. And I mean, my kids, they're like, oh yeah, we love fiber too. So, mm-hmm. I mean, they're awesome cheerleaders, but yeah, with us being local, you actually have a neighbor to talk to about this instead of someone in a different state or possible country.
Yeah. I mean, you said possibly even a different state. Sometimes it's like, well, I called somebody and they work for the company, but they had to call a tech from Minnesota to come. It's like, it's nice to have it all under one umbrella.
The last thing the city wants to do is to be the broadband provider for internet of the city of Fort Dodge. But nobody was stepping up to do it. Nobody was coming in to take care of the citizens. At that point, the city just decided, look, if nobody's going to do it, we're going to do it, and we're going to take care of everybody, and we're going to do this, and we're going to do it right.
We're going to do it better.
Yep, and we're going to do it better. So, there was a lot of things that were learned from 2019, from when this all started to when it went into the ground, because not only did COVID happen, the derecho blew through Ames and Cedar Rapids and all that stuff, and you know what happened to all those facilities that were not buried underground. They were all laying on the ground. Mm-hmm. So up until that point, that's a significant cost savings if you're going to just hang all this stuff on poles throughout town. Oh, yeah. And then all of a sudden this derecho blew through, and then all of a sudden maybe that's not the best idea anymore. So let's spend a little bit more money to do this right and bury it. And then the next time the derecho blows through, because it will happen. How many 500-year floods have we had in the last 10 years? Yeah. 8, 5, several. So when that blew through, it was just another thing to check off the list. Okay, yep, we're going to bury all this stuff, or bury as much of it as we can. There are places in Fort Dodge we can't bury things due to whether it's the alleys or whether it's downtown or whatever those variables are that doesn't allow us to bury things. But 95% of our network is underground. So 95% of our network is going to be intact the next time a tornado or a derecho or whatever next name of the storm is going to be that blows through Fort Dodge. Our network will be intact. Well,
I think another important that people think of internet service the same as they do electricity, running water. Mm-hmm. It's
It's almost to that point now.
It's to that almost to that point, and it also is something that any business coming into our community or anybody moving into our community to be an employee at a business, they are looking for that service, and that's one of the top things on their list.
Right.
On it, and so it's not only something that makes our life easier; it's something that we expect.
Yep, it's a necessity anymore.
It's a necessity.
It basically is a necessity anymore.
It's awesome. I like that. You talked a little bit about community involvement, Rachel. What kind of community involvement efforts do you have?
A lot of the stuff that we do, we partner with Parks and Rec. So we sponsor the Little League and youth sports. Our sponsorship makes it to where they don't have to purchase their own equipment.
Okay.
And then honestly, a lot of what we do is we show up and we're there for these kids. And there's been times where I've shown up in a fiber shirt to a park and play event that Parks and Rec did. And I got caught pushing some kid I didn't even know on a swing because no one was pushing him. So, but yeah, otherwise, we've partnered with the schools to do some internet education type things. We have little handouts. We have little stickers to go on the Chromebooks that they have the students make. And it's like cheat sheets for how to do this formula in Excel. And
oh, cool.
Yeah. So we try to help where we can with the education portion of it, but we sponsor a lot of sporting events. But yeah, we honestly, any chance we can get to go out in the community, we do. As long as we have the staff available, we'll be there.
Yeah. Let's talk about success stories. So have there been any fun success stories or things where you installed internet somewhere and somebody just could not believe that things actually work like this now? You know, because you had mentioned that earlier, you used to only have like maybe one, maybe two choices in town to get internet. That was it. And it was just the way it was, you know, and now there's more choices. There's better options available. So let's kind of talk about like what kind of success stories do you have?
I've gotten a lot of hugs. I have a lot of, there's been some people in the community that did not understand streaming. And so I would invite them in and I would log into my own YouTube TV account and kind of educate them. And a lot of people what exactly is streaming? It's simple. You're continuing to watch TV, but you're just watching it over an internet connection. Now the catch is with a lot of people are scared to switch to us because we don't offer cable. So we try to educate the customers a little bit about this streaming option where you're paying someone else for that, but come in so we can help you understand what exactly this entails. I had a girl come in and I sat down with her for an hour. We went over some different streaming options and how it all worked and the payments and what package. And we created a tool on our website where it's a 8 questionnaire quiz. You just go and fill it out. It asks you about your home. Are sports important to you? How are you currently streaming? Do you have a smart TV, or what is a smart TV? Mm-hmm. And then at the end of it, you're able to choose the channels that you want to watch, and it's going to calculate what streaming service is best for you, give you the link to go directly there to sign up, tell you what channels exactly are on there, or maybe excluded, maybe you don't need them. The price point, it's pretty awesome. But for some people, they want good internet, but they don't use the internet for everything. Mm-hmm. And so they would prefer that one-on-one. We have people come in and we educate them with our big TV in our office. Girl came in, she hugged me. She's like, I get it now. This seems so much easier than what I thought it was going to be. And for those people who don't have a smart TV, we go to Walmart or Target and get a Fire Stick or a Roku device. And yeah, we just like to educate them. Gotten lots of hugs. Came back the next day. We got cookies. That always makes our day. But yeah,
there's nothing like a happy customer when it's all said and done.
Oh, it makes us so happy too. Yeah,
makes your job so much easier.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
and pleasurable and memorable.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. So you guys have. I didn't look at the map of exactly how much of Fort Dodge. Is the entirety of Fort Dodge mapped out?
We finally finished the whole network around the city of Fort Dodge. That was late last year. I think we finished splicing, in the week between Christmas and New Year's.
Oh, wow.
So we were done, sadly, with Mother Nature. All the conduit was in the ground, and at that point, we're just splicing. So the stuff was already there. We weren't able to connect, basically the southwest and northwest corners of Fort Dodge because the ground was already frozen. So we couldn't get to those people's homes. So that's kind of a big area that we have yet to hit to bring customers online. But the fiber network is done, so we're praying for Mother Nature to give us an early spring to thaw out. Days like this are fantastic, so we can bring our drop crews back in and start hooking up those customers. We have nearly 500 people on our waiting list to get drops.
Cool.
We have goals to try and get that up to 1,000 here yet before. We'd love to see that before it thaws, so we just can hand over 1,000 addresses to our drop crews and just start, hooking up customers as fast as we can. So that's kind of where we're at in our process of the network is done, the city is ready to be connected, and now it's just that final little piece from the curb to the home or the residence or the business address. So that's what we've got left to do.
Let's say somebody wants internet installed. Like, what's the installation process like then?
So first we check to make sure that there's a registration. After we see the registration, we need to verify that we have our box on the side of the house or the side of the business. Once we have that, and our technicians go out there and take site survey notes so we know how to bring the fiber to you, that's when we are going to send it to our contractors to do the fiber drop. But those who confirm their plan and say, yes, I'm taking Fort Dodge fiber, that is when we're going to go ahead and send that list off to the guys. So if people are still thinking about it, we can definitely do the site survey. So the box is there if they choose to take service later on in the future. But we don't physically bury the fiber yet until they confirm that they will be taking the service. It's simple. The fiber drop is no cost to the customers. We are absorbing those costs. So in order to continue for us to do that, we just got to make sure that we see a return on our investment so we can keep allowing it to be free for customers going forward.
They just have to sign up for a plan, and then away we go.
Yep, they'll get email notifications, text messages. Hey, check your email to confirm your plan. You just click the link and click what internet you want. And once we get that confirmation, we send it to the drop crews. And it'll take a couple weeks once people start seeing white paint lines or white flags for those crews to come and actually bury it. And then as soon as that fiber drop is done, they send it off to our team after they test the light and make sure we're good to go. Then we reach out to the customer and tell them we're ready to schedule install.
Nice. Do you have any plans to expand outside of the city? Because generally kind of internet companies kind of keep regions.
Yep.
They do overlap a little bit here and there, but do you have any plans to expand?
So we'd love to expand. Sadly, Webster County is about the first county in the state of Iowa that's fully fiber.
It is.
Cool.
To every address, or is available to get every address. So that's great, except for Fort Dodge is kind of surrounded by all these other little municipal telecoms, and the local telephone companies. They've been running fiber for years. They've got subsidies to do that, and have been leading the charge in making fiber to the home a thing. So the only thing that was really left in Webster County was to hook up the city of Fort Dodge.
That's wild.
It's crazy how that works. So there's a little bit of area yet right outside the city limits that is kind of wedged between rivers and hard to get places that we do have a little bit of option to expand. Our current loan and our financing only allows us to be inside of the city limits of Fort Dodge. So we'll have to get a little bit more on financial stable grounds. So we're talking several years down the road before we can look at doing that, if somebody doesn't come in and beat us to those tiny little one-off areas. There's not much left, but that's about the only place that we do have left to expand.
Yeah, it's been a while since I pulled up a map, but it was like the entire thing almost was covered.
Yep.
It was
And I think Webster County, I believe, is the first one in Iowa that is fully fiber ready, and that's between the 3 or 4 telecoms around us that have areas, and then us inside of the city of Fort Dodge.
And I know, with talking to the Iowa Economic Development Authority, they didn't even realize that Webster County had that much fiber in it. Knew we were getting there. Yep. But when we said, if basically the areas that there is none, it would be so difficult to plow.
Right.
Because you got a quarry there, or like you said, a river or whatever. It's not a case of it wouldn't do it. It's just a case of the geographic area makes it almost impossible.
Right.
Yeah, and those might be those situations you have to go above ground or something to get there the easiest or something.
Yep.
What about common misconceptions people might have about fiber internet? Are there any? Maybe it's how much technology has changed might be the one misconception people have.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest misconception, is probably from us old people, where fiber was really hard to work with and just expensive to deal with. And for a new person coming in, or for what we did as a brand new build inside the city of Fort Dodge, it was at or below what it would cost to done a fiber or a copper build, inside of building a network like that. But I'm not really sure of any other misconceptions. I mean, we can provide, just a normal connection to your house, and whether it's fiber or what, you don't really care as an end user. You just want it to work.
Yeah.
And, that's what we can do. And the beauty of fiber is there's not a limit. It can grow and it can expand. And we're going to, at some point, have to swap out your equipment at your home and in our data center for different equipment to go even faster yet. So there's no real limit to what the backbone of this network can do.
Nice. Let's say somebody wants to learn more about this. Like, we've talked about a lot of things in here. We've covered a lot of ground as far as what you guys got going on down at Fort Dodge Fiber. If somebody wants to know more about this, maybe sign up for your services, things of that nature, what's the best way to go about that?
So if they just go to fortdodgefiber.com, on a desktop computer on the top right, it'll be on the right side, right below our logo. It simply says sign up. So if you go to our website and register, it's going to ask for your address and contact information. Then that's when the customer experience team will reach out to you via email to confirm your plan. Once you confirm a plan, then we put you on the list to get the fiber drop. So
cool.
Yeah, they can simply just go to our website, give us a call. We love to talk to people. 515-515-5000. I want to make like a 5,000.
5,000.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah. Otherwise, stop in anytime as well.
Yep.
Monday
Rachel
through
and her
Friday.
team are fantastic to just stop in, and they love to talk to people down at 617 Central, right?
That's right.
617 Central.
Yep.
That's awesome. All right, so we're getting down to the end of this podcast. I ask most everybody the same question at the end of these podcast episodes. Since we are a marketing company, and we've talked a tiny bit about marketing in this one. This was not super marketing centric, but is there a time in your life where marketing has impacted you, maybe either personally or in your business or in your life, and you just didn't know it until afterwards? You're like, oh.
So actually the other day I went to Casey's and I was wearing my jacket with the Fort Dodge Fiber logo. And the girl goes, you work for Fort Dodge Fiber? And I'm like, yeah. Oh, I need your service. And I signed her up right then and there. And I think she has an install next week. So just the simple stuff of a logo on a T-shirt. I know I was reminded by a billboard that I needed to update my son's car insurance. I didn't necessarily go with that insurance company because I knew someone else closer to me, but a simple billboard reminded me, oh yeah, there was that task I needed to do. So.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, how many of those stupid, silly Super Bowl quotes are we still going back talking about? They're still quoting from when I was in high school about what's up?
Oh, yeah.
Yo quiero Taco Bell.
Actually,
all those things. So it's it's just those one-liners that just make you go, oh yeah, and you feel good about yourself, and it's like takes you back to when you were younger again, and just those nice things that you get. So, Fort Dodge Fiber, we don't have that one-liner yet, but fiber just makes you want, it's going to be a good quality product. It's fast, and, we're just here to provide customer service. So if you hear Fort Dodge Fiber, I would really prefer people to think customer service and a great customer experience over fast broadband internet.
Well, your tag is actually something epic.
Start something
epic. Yep.
So
Yeah.
start
And
something
then-
epic.
We were voted best internet provider with the Messenger's Reader's Choice Award, so that was really cool.
Cool.
And we only had 2,000 customers at that
Probably.
time?
Wow.
Yeah.
They felt strongly enough to vote.
They did.
They did.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's cool.
Yep.
We had a guy come in last week. He was late paying his bill, and his services got turned off. And he still goes, you guys are the best. Like, your service is absolutely amazing. I'm sorry I'm late. People have issues sometimes. So, we understand. He's like, I just want to say you guys are just awesome. I'm going to pay so I can get my stuff back on.
Yeah.
But you guys are just the absolute best. And thank you.
You guys are providing a good service when the customer's faced with negativity, they're still positive.
Yeah.
It's just like,
Yeah.
like you said, either they don't pay or something, or like something goes down, and then when it's fixed, you're like, this is still the greatest.
Yep.
I mean, I don't care.
You'll find that, one of our tech gals that she carries around parts in her car for something that it's not a normal occurrence, but we've had it enough to where, oh, you've got this and it's doing this. Yep. I'll be right there in 10 minutes. And she carries parts in her car. So if she sees a ticket come in Saturday afternoon and she's out running errands, she'll call them up and say, hey, can I stop over? And that's going above and beyond. And that's our team will go above and beyond in almost every case to make sure that the customer has that perfect experience or that excellent experience. So that's what we are here for.
I love it. All right. So ForDodgeFiber.com. You don't even have to type it in. Just scroll into the descriptions. Click the link. There's going to be other links down there. Pretty much anything I can find for Ford Dodge Fiber, I'm going to put down there in the description section. So if you're interested, if you're intrigued, if you have questions, these are the people to talk to. You can find all the information right down there below in the description section. And also below their stuff, there's going to be some Spin Market stuff down there. So make sure you like, subscribe, share, comment, tweet, retweet. Just let somebody know if you like this episode. If you think they could use the services of Ford Dodge Fiber, just send them the episode. Say, check this out. It's going to be good. So thank you guys. I want to say, like I said, I know you're busy. You guys were, out working before you came in here, and I'm sure you're going out to work some more.
We are. Yes, we are.
Thank you guys for taking time out of your busy day to come down and sit and talk with us.
Thanks for having us. We appreciate it.
This podcast is produced by Spin Market and Digital. Located in Fort Dodge, Iowa, Spin Market's highly skilled team can help you increase your market by updating your website, improving SEO, designing advertisements, and producing podcasts that will grab the attention of your market. Contact Spin Market today for all your digital marketing needs at Digital Agent at spinmarket.com or call us at 515-302-8026. And to learn more, visit our website at www.spinmarket.com. That's Digital Agent at spinmarket.com or 515-302-8026. Or visit our website at www.spinmarket.com.